Yo, what is up, everybody? It's B Militant. Welcome back to the channel. I'm your host here on the Redskins review, and get ready because it's going to be a long video, man. I'm really trying to spin some positives out of this Vikings game. I'm really trying to stay positive and find something to look forward to. But truth of the matter is, this is Code Red. We are officially in Code Red. We need to beat the Saints next week. And that's not an easy task. They just put up 40-some goddamn points this week, and that's what they do every single week. So, I mean, as long as we go in there and upset the Saints like we did the Seahawks, maybe we'll be okay. But we are in Code Red now. So, to talk about the Vikings game a little bit, it's pretty frustrating. Anytime you play a game where you had opportunities and you had missed opportunities and you lose that game, it's hard to grasp and just accept it and everything. But I think it made it a little bit easier on me that I just knew the Vikings were a better team, just a better all-around solid football team. Their defense played much better than ours. Really, honestly, the actual story of the game for me, who I think if anyone in the entire game gets a game ball, I think the biggest story of the game is the Minnesota Vikings offensive line. They straight up won that game. They just watching them and watching the commentators pointing out how well that the offensive line for the Vikings was playing. That's one of the best offensive line play in the game that I've seen in a very long time, honestly. They ended our streak. The Redskins had a 32-game streak where we had at least one sack in every single game for 32 games. Yeah, didn't happen. Ended versus the Vikings. That offensive line was great versus our defensive line in the run, in the pass, whatever. Case Keenum is, I mean, he's playing well this year, but Case Keenum is still Case Keenum. But they protected his ass pretty well. One of the only times in the game that we had any pass rush and we got to Case Keenum was the first DJ Swearinger interception. The first time in the entire game, in the fourth quarter, that we got a pass rush where we had a body up in Case Keenum's face. He throws the ball straight up in the air, and DJ Swearinger intercepts it. And it took to the fourth quarter to get any type of pass rush. Honestly, it took till the fourth quarter to get any defense going. Hats off to the Vikings, man. They had great game plans. They came in here and pretty much neutralized one of our best defensive players, Zach Brown. You didn't hear Zach Brown doing much of anything, and that's because they just had a very good game plan, and their offensive line, like I said, they were always continuously getting up to the next level on runs, and they were out there blocking constantly. They just put on a clinic in this game, and obviously Adam Thielen also put on a clinic. Let's go to the stats real quick. Adam Thielen had 8 catches, 8 receptions for 166 yards, averaging over 20 yards a catch and a touchdown. And yeah, our defense could not stop one player, basically. It was one of our worst defensive efforts all year, and I even saw reports. This is something that a reporter said, and I heard it, and I was like, that's kind of true. The Redskins don't know how to win. The Redskins cannot sustain winning. We go up to Seattle last week, and we beat Seattle, and the team is on this high of beating Seattle, and they come home, and they go into this game where we're playing a 6-2 Vikings team that's good, and even DJ Swearinger, and there's another report that Preston Smith even said they were lackadaisical in practice on Friday, and they just felt like they weren't ready. And I mean, who else's fault is it besides Jay Gruden and the same people, the captain of the defense, DJ Swearinger? Who else's fault is this And then I heard Gruden talk, and he said, and I mean, you have to believe him, but he said it's hard to have a real practice. All they're doing really is having a walkthrough most of the time because they don't have enough healthy bodies to even have a real practice. They have to do walkthroughs. So I believe that, and you have to give Gruden some benefit of the doubt. But how does our defense and how does our team sit here and ride a high from a game that they weren't supposed to win and they win it, and then we go into another game that we're not supposed to win and they just acted like they were good, like they didn't need to try. And when the game was happening, one of the announcers said that, and I was like, no, they wouldn't do that. But now I'm hearing the report straight out of DJ Swearinger's mouth, who said that's kind of what happened. Was they thought that they were lackadaisical because they thought they were good because of last week or whatever. I would not have said that was the fact, but DJ Swearinger came out and said it, man. So how does that happen? I just don't understand. And then just a bad game all around from everybody. And then even though the offense comes out and the offense comes out and scores the most points that we've scored all year long. But it's not good enough to win, man. Kirk Cousins, the interception. Now, this is the thing. You're clueless if you think Kirk Cousins isn't going to throw any more interceptions this year. It's going to happen. My issue is where he threw the interception, giving the other team, turning the ball over that deep in our own territory. You can't do it. You can't do it. And it's just obviously an errant throw. He straight up overthrew Jamison Crowder, who's not a very tall guy. You can't do it. And this is my thing, man. If I'm okay with Kirk Cousins throwing interceptions from time to time because it's going to happen. We throw it. You all know we love to throw the football. And when you throw the football this much, you're going to throw interceptions, all right? But my issue is, why aren't we throwing these interceptions down the field? Why aren't we trying some down the field more, and then the other throw where he overthrows Josh Doxson in the end zone. He might have had a guy in his face, I don't know. But he overthrew Josh Doxson. And I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, man, he overthrew Josh Doxson. Well, I'm just glad that he did overthrow him, because if he underthrew him, it would have been an interception. So I'm cool with him overthrowing rather than underthrowing any day of the week. And also, the other caveat to that is, how many times are you going to sit here and you're going to sit here and tell me that if that was Deshaun Jackson, he's not going to catch that? If that was Deshaun Jackson, you're going to tell it. How many times did we see Deshaun Jackson literally have Kirk Cousins just throw the ball into the end zone, and Deshaun Jackson was just there, and he got that, and he even did it contested. He was even contested a bunch of times. There's highlight after highlight. Deshaun Jackson led the league in passes over 50 yards or something like that last year. How many times did we see Deshaun Jackson make catches like that? Now, am I trying to make excuses for Kirk Cousins overthrow him? No, I'm not. But what I'm saying is there's got to be some miscues between Kirk Cousins and these new wide receivers, man. It's obviously showing. Deshaun Jackson probably would have been in that end zone and caught that shit. Now, that doesn't make there's no excuse. There's no excuse for this loss, man. The defense looked like the defense from last year, straight up. Giving a team third downs over and over and over again. They ran the ball effectively early. On the Vikings' very first drive of the game, what did they do? One of their first plays, ran right up the middle, ran right up the gut, got like 12 yards on that play, and then what's the very next play? Play action pass down to like the 1 yard line. You can't let these. We can't. Our priority number one: stop the run. Don't let anybody run, especially a quarterback like Case Keenum. Don't let their team run the football and make Case Keenum beat us, and we didn't do that. We did not do that. And I stick up for Jay Gruden a lot, and I've been up and down on Greg Manusky. Obviously, after last week, we all praise Greg Manusky, but I just feel like the coaching is too inconsistent at times. There's still question marks in the game. Like at the very end of the game, the game's on the line, and Jay Gruden calls 2 run plays to get like a yard or something. It's 4th and 1. The game's on the line, and you're gonna give the ball to Chris Thompson versus one of the best rushing defenses in the league. Even though we were having some success versus them on the ground in the game, they're still that good versus the run, and the game's on the line. Are we a running football team? Are we a passing football team? Obviously, I love being able to run the ball first. I'm a run first type of person, but that's not, we have to be honest, that's not what our team is. And we're going to go out here in 4th and 1 and say we're a running football team now all of a sudden. I don't understand. I don't get that call. I don't get that call. And we didn't get it, and that was basically game over. And then on the defense, I just don't understand what it is. Like, we are not making adjustments. We're not making adjustments. The big story of the game is the Vikings offensive line. We had no pass rush the entire game. We had no pass rush. And then Greg Manusky's not blitzing. I think one time because we did blitz and then they busted our ass, they were ready for that on a screen pass. So I think that's why I stopped doing it. But regardless, we've learned from our last defensive coordinator. What do all of us say? Let's go out guns blazing instead of just sitting back and getting picked apart. I would rather go out guns blazing, man. If shit ain't working out, let's get some type of pressure on Case Keenum. Let's see what he's made of. Because we already saw him just throw the ball straight up in the air one time. Though, like, one time we got pressure on him. So, you can just look around this entire football team and say, why? Why did this happen? Why are these guys not prepared? Why are these guys not ready to play? Why are these guys not making plays? Why is Josh Doxson falling on the ground in the end zone when he's wide open? We could have had a touchdown instead of a field goal. Why? Special teams has been not very good this year. You can go around the entire team right now and just say, why, man? Why? Jordan Reed can't stay healthy. Why? Why can't you be on the football field for us, Jordan Reed? We paid you a lot of money. DeShazer Everett got his ass tore up in this game. Why, DeShazer Everett? Josh Norman, Breeland got tore up in this game. Now, I'm going to give them a little bit of slack because, like I said, we had no pass rush at all. None. Zero. The Vikings offensive line kicked our ass. That was one of the best performances by an offensive line I've seen in a long time. And we had no pressure on Case Keenum. And they just picked us apart. And that when you get no pressure on a quarterback, I'm going to have to stick up for our secondary a little bit. They're running all over the field all goddamn day because Case Keenum has all day to throw the football. They're running the football effectively. They just had our way with them. And to flip the coin, though, didn't we have our way with them? I mean, if our defense would have given our offense the ball back a little bit, you think our offense couldn't have scored 38 points? I think we would have if we would have had more opportunities. But our defense looked like the defense from last year. And then our offense, we have no wide receivers. Terrell Pryor. Does anyone know how many catches Terrell Pryor had in this game? Because it's 0. 0 catches. Do you know how many rushing touchdowns we had in this game? We had 2, and they're both by our quarterback. Whose quarterback is running for touchdowns because they have no run game? Is Tom Brady? How many? Someone figure this out for me. How many rushing touchdowns does Tom Brady have this year? I would love to know that number, and then put that up against how many rushing touchdowns Kirk Cousins has this year, and then find out how many rushing yards the Patriots have this year, and put that up against our rushing yards. I would love to see some of those numbers. I need your guys' help. I could look it up right now. I probably will after this video. But hey, I'm just pointing out some obvious points here. So let's go into some numbers here. I could sit here and talk all day. This is gonna be a long video, man. There's a whole bunch of whys. Now, another thing I want to bring up. Something positive that came out of this game is our kicker, Nick Rose. Nick Rose with the 56-yard kick. Excuse me. 56-yard kick. And this is a guy who was untested. I think earlier in the game you saw Jay Gruden go for it on 4th down multiple times because he wanted to. He just didn't trust our kicker. And at the end of the game, we had to kick a 56-yarder, and he nailed it. So hopefully Nick Rose turns out to be a good kicker for us. And Dustin Hopkins, I'm pretty much done with the dude. We had to play against Kai Forbath, who had a pretty good game. But I mean, when it comes to the kicker situation, man, I liked Kai Forbath. We got rid of him. I liked Dustin Hopkins, but he can't stay healthy. Get rid of him. I'm ready, and I'm almost there with Rob Kelly. You can't stay on the football field. How many times in the last year have I come up here and said Rob Kelly is better than average? He's not better than average if he can't stay on the goddamn football field. All right, so outski. I'm done. And I don't love our other options. I don't love P. Ryan, and we already let Mac Brown go. And who did we let him go to? A winning organization like the Vikings. We're lucky. The Vikings didn't say, "Hey, we're up like 21 points or something like that. Let's put Mac Brown in here and let him stomp their ass for letting them go." We're lucky that didn't happen. We're lucky that they didn't just say, "Hey, Mac Brown, you want a piece of this action? You want in?" They could have done that, and we could have been sitting here watching Mac Brown tear our ass up behind a good offensive line. Now, I kind of forget what I was ranting about there, but basically going special teams. So we have Nick Rose now. He kicked that 56-yarder, looked good doing it. I'm all aboard on Nick Rose now. If Dustin Hopkins doesn't come back, oh well. I like the dude, but he missed a couple kicks for us, and if this other guy looks pretty good. Now, the only downside is Nick Rose on the onside kick basically ended the game. Kicking, I mean, it's an onside kick, man. How are you going to kick it 4 yards? Like, come on, man. What are you doing? All the Redskins fans just exhaled and gave you props for kicking that 56-yarder, and then you're going to come out and you're going to weak-ass kick a 4-yard onside kick. It makes no sense, dude. At least over-kick it. How are you going to under-kick it? So, ups and downs to that. Well, that's probably one of the biggest takeaways from the game, though, is Nick Rose. We do have a kicker. We don't need to fret. The guy's still somewhat untested, but if he comes into the game, I'm not worried. So, to move on to special teams in general, like I said, you can go around this team all the way around and say why. Why? Can anybody tell me the last time that the Redskins have had a kick return for a touchdown? And I mean a kickoff return, not a punt return, because we know Jamison Crowder had the punt return last year versus the Ravens. But when's the last time that we have a kick return? Because the last one that I can recall is good old Andre Roberts with the kick return. Now you're going to tell me the guy Andre Roberts that we couldn't stand is better than people we have now? You can go all the way around this team and just start saying why all day right now. Our special teams is not good, man. They aren't absolutely terrible like we've had 3 to 5 years ago where we were like the worst in the league. It's not that bad, but we don't have anybody making plays. We don't. And what was the Vikings? They have like their punt returner has like 6 returns for touchdown this year. When can we have some special teams help? When our defense needs help? When our offense is struggling? When can we get some special teams help? That's what I want to know. So let's go into some of the stats Case Keenum went 21 out of 29 attempts, 304 yards, 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Yes, this man had 2 interceptions, and his team still won. Because his defense did something, and Latavius Murray, 17 carries for 68 yards, averaging 4 yards a carry. He had 1 touchdown. Jerick McKinnon had 10 carries for 32 yards. All in all, the Vikings had 102 yards rushing. Now let's go to our side here. Actually, we'll just continue with the Vikings. So, on the Vikings, for receiving, Adam Thielen, we know, had 166 yards. Stephon Diggs had 78 yards. Their tight end, Kyle Rudolph, had 37. And, they had altogether they had 304 receiving yards. On our team, Kirk Cousins went 26 completions out of 45 attempts. Yet again, we're not running the football, we're throwing the football. He had 327 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, and he also had 2 rushing touchdowns, which I'm about to get to. Samaje Perine had 9 carries for 35 yards. It's one of Perine's better games, but I'm still not blown away. I'm not seeing it. Hopefully Perine is better next year. I don't know what else to say, man, but he's not starting material in my opinion right now. I just don't see it from him. Chris Thompson had 9 carries for 26 yards. Rob Kelly had 4 carries for 10 yards. Kirk Cousins had 4 carries for 5 yards and 2 touchdowns. And apparently Jamison Crowder ran the ball once. Receiving, Jamison Crowder had 4 receptions for 76 yards. Another positive from this game, Jamison Crowder, he had a couple drops, but besides that, Jamison Crowder looked like the old Jamison Crowder that we used to know, right? Oh shit, he had a couple drops, man. He only had 4 receptions and he was targeted 11 times. Then you got to ask yourself, how many times did Kirk Cousins miss a throw? I don't know, but Jamison Crowder had some drops in the game. But when he did catch the ball, didn't he look like the old Jamison Crowder we knew? So that's another positive. Another positive straight up away is Vernon Davis. Still, Vernon Davis, it took until later in the game, but then he started coming on and looking like the Vernon Davis that we know. He had 7 catches for 76 yards. Maurice Harris had 2 catches for 50 yards, 1 touchdown. Josh Doctson only had 4 catches for 30 yards. Ryan Grant had 3 catches for 25 yards. And big old Terrell Pryor has 0 catches. Didn't even have a target, I don't think. Now, while we're on the wide receiver position, let's go here and say, on the record, for a while now, when we've all realized the Terrell Pryor experiment is not working out, I straight up said, where's Brian Quick? Where's Maurice Harris? Let's give Kirk Cousins someone to throw the ball to, man. You can, like, if you just watch the game, you can tell Kirk doesn't trust people. He just doesn't trust people, man. He picks and chooses who he's going to throw the ball to, and that's why Terrell Pryor had 0 catches, because he's just, and some of this is some of this is also coaching and play calling, because going back to the whole interception thing, when we throw the ball as much as we do, we're going to throw interceptions. Kirk Cousins is going to throw interceptions. But why aren't we throwing these interceptions down the football field? Why aren't we taking chances down the field? We have Josh Doctson and Terrell Pryor. Excuse me. When we signed Terrell Pryor, didn't the same thought go through all of our minds at the same time? Hey, now we got a guy who's going to go into the red zone, and we're just going to throw the ball up to him, and he's going to come down with it. Isn't that what we all thought? Hey, now we got a big target where we can throw the ball to the outside, straight up to the sideline, and just throw a ball up, and maybe Terrell Pryor's going to come down with it. We don't even try. We don't even try. I don't understand why we aren't doing it. Why aren't we taking some more shots down the field? Why aren't we throwing the ball up to some of our receivers who are going to go get it? And it's just play. It's a mixture between play calling and just Kirk Cousins not trusting these guys. And I mean, what else are we supposed to say? Josh Doctson, we're all wowed by his catch last week, right? Why are we wowed? Because we haven't seen him do shit like that before. So we can't be too upset that Kirk Cousins doesn't trust the guys to catch footballs. Like, we have no wide receivers. All we got is Crowder in the middle, and now Maurice Harris. Maurice Harris better be on that football field a lot for the remainder of the year. We need to give Kirk Cousins guys who he can trust. And Maurice Harris is probably the best possession receiver we have on this football team. Straight up. He is the closest to a Pierre Garçon possession receiver that we have on this team. And is Maurice Harris the fastest guy? No, he's not. Is he the biggest guy? No, he's not. Is he the strongest guy? No, he's not. But he's got pretty sure hands. We need him on the football field. And we need to get people on the football field who are going to perform. And we sit here, and the first time Maurice Harris is on the football field, he makes that catch, proves that, just straight up proves, hey, I deserve it. I deserve to be out on the football field. We need to start giving people who are stepping up opportunities. Offense and defense and special teams. We just signed the one guy from the Ravens, the guy who was on the Ravens practice squad, who was like a quarterback and wide receiver, some shit like that, whatever. But he's a return specialist as well. Let's get him out here returning something. I mean, we need a spark. We need something. And the rest of the season, I mean, I'm not going to count us out yet, but the Saints are putting up like goddamn 50 points every single week. And honestly, I mean, with our schedules being as hard as it was, we just scored 30 points this week. And straight up, to be honest, 30 points about 80% of the time in the NFL is good enough to win. Straight up. 30 points is good enough to beat teams around this league. But not when we're going up against Minnesota. Not when we're going up against the Seahawks. Not when we're going up against these better teams, the Saints. We need to figure it out, man. We need to figure out what's going on in defense. DJ Swearinger, really, he's the guy who was showing heart out there. He's pretty much the only guy on defense who really stood out. And we're missing guys in the middle. We're missing Jonathan Allen. We're missing Matt Ioannidis. Hopefully Matt Ioannidis will come back and play soon because we have no interior pass rush. Lanier played pretty good last week, but we're so inconsistent. And that's kind of the motto of this team for a long time. We're inconsistent. We will go to Seattle and beat them in Seattle, and then we'll come home and we'll have opportunities to win, and we're not capitalizing. We're not getting help from special teams. Defense is we're getting out game planned by other teams. They straight up kind of took away Zach Brown from us. Didn't hear his name called a lot. They were running the ball effectively. They were just having their way with us, and our offense was kind of having our way with them as well, but we just didn't have more opportunities. Here's another thing I can bring up. The Redskins allowed over 7 yards a catch, or 7 yards after the catch on Sunday. Their second highest amount of the season, according to ESPN. Minnesota only averaged 8 yards per target in the air, the third lowest we've ever had this season. So what that basically is saying is the Vikings weren't throwing it very far, but once they caught it, they ran after the catch for average of 7 yards or whatever. God, like, this defense just straight up looked like the defense last year. And with the injuries, also another positive is when Compton went down, Martell Spate came in, and Martell Spate had a pretty decent game. And that's in the fourth quarter when we started to make a comeback. Martell Spate played pretty well. Josh Norman dropped an interception. I mean, Josh Norman's a phenomenal player. Phenomenal player. I'm glad he's a Redskin. But how many interceptions have we seen this man drop? I mean, that would have just changed the game. Case Keenum's over here throwing what should have been like 3 interceptions more, and his team won. They're just a better team. They're a better overall team, and that's why even though we had opportunities in this game, just looking back and looking at it and just watching Minnesota, they're a good football team, man, and it makes it a little bit easier for a loss to know that we lost to a team that maybe we should lose to, instead of, we aren't the Giants losing to the 49ers, even though we almost lost to the 49ers and the 49ers fight or whatever, we didn't lose to a winless team. We're not doing that, but we still have opportunities and we're not capitalizing. There's going to be a lot of people who are like, oh, Kirk Cousins, this is another loss, but all he's going to do is he's going to put stats up on the, he's going to pad his stats or whatever. Man, we were in this game the entire time. Like, we're down by like 2 scores. What do you want the man to just tank the game and not, just because we're not going to win, let's not fight? I mean, I don't understand. There's going to be people who are saying that, and there's already been people who commented on my last video, and apparently people thought I wasn't serious when I said I will block you, I will get you off the channel if you just talk shit about our players. And it doesn't even need to be about Kirk Cousins. If you come on here and just start talking reckless about anybody, it could be D'Angelo Hall. I mean, I had to make an entire video talking about why do Redskins fans hate D'Angelo Hall so much. I don't understand it. Like, the guy had a pretty decent career with us, and then there's constant shit talking about D'Angelo Hall. It doesn't matter what player it is. You come on here and talk some reckless shit about our players. Now there's some people who deserve it. We all agree. Andre Roberts, he had enough time. He didn't show us anything, and he had to go. There's only a few players that I've jumped on the bandwagon and say, hey, another one's Terrell Pryor. You can come on here and say whatever you want about Terrell Pryor. I'm not going to defend him, all right? I'm not. But if you come on here talking about, I don't know, Bashar Breeland, or you come on here talking about Martell Spate or something, and you just start talking reckless, I'm just going to get you off the channel, man. You're not helping anything. If you want to give constructive criticism, if you want to say, oh, Kirk Cousins can't throw a deep ball, well then I'll sit here and say, oh, well, what about the Maurice Harris catch? Was that not a deep throw? Did he not throw the ball like 50 yards for a touchdown right there? We can debate stuff all day, and we can, if you want to be civil about shit, that's cool. But if you want to just come on here and just start talking reckless shit, man, I'll get rid of you. I already started doing it. But let's go through. I have another stat up here. Redskins rushing in the last 6 games. Versus Kansas City, we had 111 yards. Versus the 49ers, who are terrible, we had 94 yards. Versus Philadelphia, excuse me, we had 75 yards. Versus Dallas, we had 49 yards. Versus Seattle, we had 51 yards. Versus Minnesota, we had 81 yards. Now, how many wide receivers have over 100 yards receiving in a game this year? Only one receiver, and that's Jamison Crowder, one time. I would love to know how many times we've ran the ball for over 100 yards in a game, because I guarantee you it's probably out of 9 games, it's probably like 3 games. We can't win. We cannot win that way. I mean, we can't sit here and game in and game out believe that we're going to find a way to win with not attempting to run the football. Although in this game early, I do give Gruden credit. Excuse me. He did try to run the football. I remember at the beginning of this game, I was watching it, and we had like 5 run plays in a row, and I was like, God damn, Jay Gruden, you're committing to run the football, really? I was shocked. And then obviously we go down scores, and running goes out the window, but we cannot sit here. I jock on teams all the time, man. The Baltimore Ravens. I watch Ravens football because I live here, and I gotta watch it because it's on TV. And they'll have like, one time we played them, I think it was like the preseason or something, and they had like 37 yards rushing versus us. And I see their fans online, just talking shit or whatever. I'm like, dude, how do you expect to win a game in the NFL with 37 rushing yards? You can't do it. It's not gonna happen. And then now I'm sitting here looking at our stats, and I'm have to tell us the same thing. How do you expect to win in this league when you cannot run the football? We have no one to run the football. And now we let Mac Brown go. I just, problem after problem. This is the same Redskins shit, man. I'm sure you all are used to it. Trying to pick out some highlights, man, and there's only a few. Nick Rose, we have a pretty decent young rookie kicker. Maurice Harris is balling. Jamison Crowder is looking more and more like the old Jamison Crowder. Vernon Davis is still a beast. We got to get the football into playmakers' hands, and even if that means Terrell Pryor is going to have 0 catches each week, I don't give a shit. Give the ball to Maurice Harris. Give the ball to Brian Quick. Give it to someone that's going to catch it. Give it to someone who's going to go up and get the football. And also, another play, I remember, I forget what point in the game, but Kirk Cousins throws this ball into the end zone to Josh Doxson, and it's batted down. And I just watched that play a couple times, and I'm like, go get the football, man. Go get the football. You're in the end zone. The ball's coming to you. There's a defender behind you, and he goes and gets the football. And you don't. You're a receiver. Help your quarterback out. Get a touchdown. Get to the 1 yard line. Cut back and come back to the football. Don't just, I'm going to keep my hands right here and the ball's going to come to me. Go get the football, man. You're a receiver. That's your ball. Go get that shit. Don't let the defender did. Help your quarterback out. Help your team out. Make catches. Contest. And that's why I'm not going to jump on Kirk Cousins. I mean, was this his best game? Hell no, it wasn't his best game, but he's competing. He's trying. And only a few people on this football team. Vernon Davis, he's trying. Jamison Crowder, he's trying. There's a few people that are trying, man, and I'm not going to jump on them for shit. I know everyone's going to come up here and try to say some shit. Oh, you're not going to harp on Kirk Cousins for throwing an interception on our side of the field or whatever. No, man, I'm not, because the dude ran for 2 touchdowns and threw one. And we should have had more. We should have had at least 2 more touchdown passes that Josh Doxson fell down on. And then the other one I just talked about where when he let the defender go get the football and he didn't. I'm not going to harp on this man. I'm not going to harp on the guy who's competing. I'm not going to, there's only a few individuals on this football team week in and week out that do that. So I'm not, just because they have a down game, I'm not going to jump on them. Bashar Breeland, how many times do I jump on him? He had a terrible game this game. I'm not going to jump on him. We had no pass rush. Jump on Preston Smith. Jump on anybody on the defensive line. We had no pass rush. We had no answer. Jump on Greg Minuski because we didn't scheme nothing up. He had a masterful game plan last week. What happened this week? What happened? We're inconsistent, and you're not going to win in this league being inconsistent. And that's kind of it. It's kind of the moral of the story. We got it. It's code red. We got to go into the Saints. We got to go to their stadium this week. And we got to get it done, man. Now, if we lose to the Saints, that's 6 losses. And that means we have to win the next 6 games to go 10-6. Can we do it? Hell yeah, we can do it. We got Kirk Cousins. I'm never going to goddamn doubt the goddamn team when we have people that compete. Is it likely? I don't know. Do we want to go out there? Do we want to do what we did in 2012 and sit here and say, you got to win the rest of your schedule to make it to the playoffs? Do we want to do that to ourselves? No, we don't. But goddamn, the Saints are putting up 50 points each week. You know, our goddamn schedule is brutal, man. What else can we say? I want us to go out there and do it. I want us to go out there and I want us to go out there and I want us to beat the shit out of the Saints and then destroy the rest of our schedule to prove how good of a football team we are. Because right now we have opportunities and we're squandering them, and that's who we are right now. I want us to go out and prove that we're not that, and we have opportunities to do that. The rest of our schedule is the easiest part of our schedule. We got the Giants twice. We got the Chargers. We got to play the Cowboys. Oh, here's another thing I totally forgot to mention. Let me look this up real fast. So, did anybody watch that Cowboys game? Did anybody watch the Cowboys game? Because there's all the people, all the fans in the NFC East, even Redskins fans. You want to sit here and talk about quarterbacks in the NFC East, and we need to get rid of Kirk Cousins because we could go out, we could draft somebody like Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott's good enough to yada 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 yada. Dak Prescott's good. Oh yeah, Dak Prescott's good. What happens when coincidentally the one game that he doesn't have Ezekiel Elliott? What happened to Dak Prescott? Well, let's see. He went 20 for 30, 176 yards, no touchdowns, had a shit ton of fumbles, a shit ton of sacks, and they lost to what? A score of 27-7. They lost 27-7. The one game they don't have Ezekiel Elliott, and they have to put pressure on Dak Prescott. And what does the young man do? He folds. So I just wanted to throw that out there. Oh, so what are we gonna do? We're gonna just go draft a quarterback. We're just gonna go find a guy. We're just gonna go find him, and he's gonna be Dak Prescott, who yet again is another quarterback who needs a team to win. So yeah, that's kind of it. I don't really know what else to say. We put all the pressure on ourselves. We need to go out and win now at the Saints. It's doable. And the key to this game of the Saints game, stop the run. Stop the run. Let me look this up right now. The Saints are just annihilating people this year. They scored 47 points. Now, I want to figure this out. Good God. Good God. Oh man. So, I'm going to say this right here, right now. The key to beating the Saints, the only chance that we have to beat the Saints, is we need to stop the run. We need to stop the run. And we need to stop the run on a football team who the Saints just had 298 rushing yards last week. 298 rushing yards and 6 rushing touchdowns. And that's what we are about to go up against, and we need to stop the run right away. If they have over 100 rushing yards in the first half, it's game over, bro. Straight up, game over. And I would also like to throw in here, Alvin Kamara had 12 carries for 106 yards. Do you know who Alvin Kamara is? Alvin Kamara came out of the draft this year, and we could have drafted him in the second round. But no, what did we do? We drafted Ryan Anderson in the second round, who I don't even see on the football field unless he's coming in to play fullback. We could have had Alvin Kamara, and we chose Ryan Anderson, who I don't even notice him on the football field ever unless he is playing fullback. So I guess that's how I'm going to end the video, seeing that this is 45 minutes long. Thank you guys for watching. I am looking for positivity, man. I am looking for it. If you have anything positive to talk about this team, please post that shit, because I need to read some positive stuff. It's hard, man. It's hard seeing these opportunities and seeing us squander them. So thanks for watching, guys. It's a long video. I'm going to end it here. Appreciate you guys watching. I do. Appreciate you guys commenting. Let me know what you guys thought about the game. What do you think was the biggest factor of the game? What do you guys think was the biggest play of the game? And be on the lookout for the Saints. Like I said, stop the run. We don't stop the run in the first half, we're donezo, man. Stop the run. Make Drew Brees beat us. That's our only option. So, hail to the Redskins. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
Well, Redskins Nation, it is never easy to lose at home. It's never easy to describe the opportunities that this team let slip away. Minnesota's a good football team. I don't want to take anything away from them. But I didn't feel the spark defensively tonight. It just wasn't there. And maybe the trip from Seattle, maybe patting ourselves on the back for a week, had a hangover effect. All I know is this. It's the second half of the season, and we're down now by one game. Just like the start of the season, we lost the opener. We got to bounce back, and we don't have a lot of time, again, to feel sorry for ourselves. New Orleans is next. There were some really good things that happened here at FedEx Field. Unfortunately, the fact that we didn't win and the final score overshadowed it. So let's get back in the film room. Let's get back in the weight room. And let's figure this thing out and get to New Orleans. Now, Code Red? Okay, I said that. We got to go out and get a victory. For ESPN Radio and Redskins Radio, the DOC. I'm out.